The crypto space is evolving daily, and if not, sometimes even hourly. I've heard of stories that people feel like if they're out of the Discord for 12 hours, for instance, on a project, they're already feeling lost. So the tax space itself needs to evolve just as quick, and I think it's really struggling in Australia. So today I'm going to go through some of the major problems when it comes to crypto tax in Australia. Hello everyone, my name is Rooshocks, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the major problems that we're having in the crypto tax space here in Australia. And as I said, the crypto space is evolving so quickly, and the tax law and the tax situation is really struggling to keep up. We've got so many unique things happening that maybe didn't even exist 12 months ago, or even 6 months ago in some cases, or they're changing in style. So we've got things like staking, DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, all these things that are happening. And all these are normally deemed as some type of investment. People are making money off them, and therefore there's normally going to be a tax implication. But the challenge for accountants and for investors is to try and work out, well, what are the tax implications of that particular investment? The problem is there's very limited information out there because the law doesn't exist. So as an accountant, we don't have a law to go off and go, yeah, this is the reference you need to look at. This is how you need to tax that situation. It's not there. So you're trying to fit a circle into a square box, and it just isn't working. Now, before I get into the next part of the video, I'd absolutely love for you to head over to my Discord community. I've only recently created this, but I've already dropped some huge announcements in there and been able to give a huge amount of value to people. I'm in there answering questions daily about crypto, about NFTs, about the tax implications, and really anything personal finance related. I can't wait to see you there, and make sure you go to that link and join the community. So currently what we're going off is 4 tax rulings here in Australia from 2014. So they were TR 2014/25 to 28. So straight away you can see the crypto space has changed dramatically since 2014. I'd say most people that are in the crypto space today definitely weren't around in 2014. I know I definitely wasn't. So straight away you've got law that was written before most people were even involved, and the crypto space has just changed so much since then. It's resulted in it being incredibly outdated what we're working off. And the biggest thing from that is the ATO are pretty much saying that all cryptocurrencies take the same characteristics of Bitcoin. And we just know that is not true these days. And what makes that even more crazy is the way Bitcoin was presumed to be used back in 2014 is probably nothing like how it's being used in 2021. Back in 2014, the conception was, well, could Bitcoin be used as a currency? The ATO come out and said, no, it's not a foreign currency, it's an investment, a CGT asset. But the idea behind it was people were deeming, well, could this take over as a currency? I think we're seeing in today's age, that's definitely not happening. If anything, people are more using Bitcoin as a store of wealth or as a way to hedge against general fiat currencies and maybe treating it a bit more like, say, gold. But the problem is there's so many other currencies out there, cryptocurrencies that are completely used in different matters. So we've got things like Ethereum that's being used as a way to transact, say, on NFTs, but also potentially as a bit of a store of wealth. We've got meme coins like Dogecoin. We've got other platforms that are building a coin, but they're also got a platform behind it. We've got governance tokens. We've got a lot of crazy things going on. So to say they all work the same way as Bitcoin is it just doesn't make sense. And the only other thing we've got to go off from the ATO is web page commentary. So they update their website and that changes regularly. So if you ever are relying on that, make sure you take a screen grab of it because these things change. They can edit that page and you can't access that history. There are some private binding rulings that have gone through, but again, you can only really guarantee to rely on that for that individual situation. And a lot of this is private, so we don't have access to this. So you can see there's a lot of issues, and to go and seek these private binding rulings or whether to go get tax advice from a tax lawyer can be quite time consuming or quite costly. I think some of the biggest issues with the current position is that the way people are using crypto and the way they're trading it makes it incredibly difficult record keeping wise and just from a logic point of view. So people are switching between cryptocurrencies really regularly, and that at the moment is deemed as a taxing event. So if you're switching from coin A to coin B, that's a taxing event, which is causing a lot of issues because people are doing this all the time as they're moving from an asset that they think is maybe no longer as relevant and moving on to something they think has a better future. But are they actually making a gain in this situation, or are they really just moving some of that risk from here to here? There's definitely an argument that people are trying to make that how about we change this and make it more simple and go to, well, unless you're converting to a stable coin or a fiat currency, that's when the gain happens. But beyond that, how about this is just a shift and your cost base moves from here to here? I think that's definitely an argument that's going to be pushed more going forward, and I'd really love if that change happened. Now that will bring with it other issues of, well, what is a stable coin and how do we justify that and how do we track that? But I still think it will make the overall space much simpler. And hopefully this will solve some of those like minor issues, but they're definitely happening. So if you've got something like ETH and you're converting that to wrapped ETH, so WETH, is that a taxing event? At the moment, the preliminary view from the ATO is that yes, that is. But really, are you actually changing what you've got there? These are why the issues that are happening at the moment are caused by the current definition of crypto from the ATO. And we've got these new areas that are happening that are bringing with it a range of extra issues. So something like staking. We've got staking where the rewards are being paid out hourly. And then at the moment, the ATO is saying, well, each of these things are an income event. And then each time you get the income event and you hold that asset, that'll form the cost base for that particular asset. So if that's happening to you on an hourly basis, that's 24 different income events you've got in one day. That's incredibly hard to keep track of, even with the best of software that's out there at the moment. Then we've got DeFi, which just causes even more issues when you've got people that are lending against their crypto, or they're depositing their crypto into something that's then investing that on their behalf. And what's happening here is each of these things have a different makeup of what is actually happening behind the scenes. And sometimes you don't even know what's happening, but technically that could be changing the way it's taxed. Really complex space, and definitely does not fit into the current tax laws that we have in other investment classes. The tax on NFTs is a complete mess. I've done a video talking about NFTs in general, but they're just a mess because there's so many different ways that NFTs can be used and so many different types of NFTs. I've talked about things like NBA Top Shot, which is like a digital trading card. We've got things like VFriends that gives you access to a business conference. We've got Z-Run, which is horse racing and horse breeding. We've got games that are play to earn like Axie Infinity. Then we've got art pieces that apparently aren't treated like real world art. So there's so many different things there from a tax point of view. And until we start seeing maybe more tax rulings on particular events and particular NFT types, it's really a complete mess. And then we've got things that are still maybe haven't hit as mainstream, if that's what you want to call it in the crypto space, but things like DAOs, decentralized organizations. Well, what entity type is that? There's been talk about potentially having a new entity structure here in Australia for DAOs. And then we've got governance tokens, and there's a lot of things that are happening that are causing a lot of issues, and people just aren't sure how to treat them. They're wanting to do the right thing, but they just don't know what the right thing is, or they can't get the advice because the people they're going to also don't know what the right thing is because there's nothing to go off. I think a major overhaul is needed. The problem with it is the crypto space is moving so quick. So even if we have an overhaul today, is that going to be relevant in 12 months' time? So I think the ATO themselves are going to have to dedicate a lot more researchers and a lot more resources to trying to keep up with these changes in crypto. And when they put something out, they need to have an understanding of, look, what could happen next? And is this ruling here going to majorly impact something else that comes down the track? It's going to be incredibly hard for them to know that, but it is a thought pattern they're going to have to go into. I think overall there's a general acceptance that crypto is here to stay and that's going to keep evolving. So I think they're going to dedicate more resources. Let's hope that in 2022 we get more court cases and stuff, so we've got a bit more law to go off, and hopefully they'll make some of the decision making on how things need to be treated much simpler. I hope that's been helpful for you. I've got lots of other crypto tax videos on my channel, so go and check them out. They'll be coming up next. I appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you again soon.